Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 24 in Be With Me. We're in the book of 1st Thessalonians, and Paul is writing some concluding thoughts to the new Thessalonian church. And he writes something that kind of caught my attention today. This is from 1 Thessalonians 5:22, and he says, abstain from every form of evil. And my first thought was, why? What's the big deal? Why do you have to make a specific warning? I mean, doesn't everybody know to stay away from evil? And the answer is apparently not. And my first prideful thought is, well, of course I'll stay away from evil, but then I have a story that tells you clearly not. And then the other thing it mentions is every form of evil. So it comes in various forms, so we probably should look at that. And let's just look at our hearts first. Wouldn't evil be the last thing on our minds? So when I was a kid, I went over to my friend Dave's house, and we were having a little sleepover. And sleepovers where you do all kinds of mischief. And he pulls out this vial of a very interesting silver liquid, and it was mercury. So he had broken a thermometer and collected the liquid mercury. And I don't know if you've ever played with liquid mercury before, but it's fascinating, and it rolls in a particular way, and the liquid kind of stays together, I think, because of increased surface tension. Anyway, the point is, we didn't really realize that it was a toxin, that it was a poison that actually never leaves the body. So we were playing with liquid mercury, where this is highly not recommended with regards to parenting and being a kid. So it's very appropriate for our story here today, is abstaining from every evil. We were playing with evil. We were getting as close to trouble. We didn't realize that it was a poison. All right, this comes in the context of another verse which we did yesterday, which was to test everything and hold fast to goodness. So there's a grabbing onto goodness and embracing, taking possession of good stuff, where this passage is talking about just exactly the opposite of holding yourself away from, letting go of, and abstaining from this, basically running as far away as possible. All right. So what should you do with evil? Clearly, abstain from it, run away from it, don't play with it. What should I replace it with? Well, that's the good. We talked about that yesterday. And when should I respond to it? Let's talk about that now. So there's an immediacy to the responding of bad things that are out there. So 1 Corinthians 6 talks about fleeing sexual immorality, fleeing idolatry. 1 Timothy, fleeing the love of money. 2 Timothy, fleeing youthful passions. Psalm 34, fleeing evil and pursuing good. Psalm 97, hating evil. And then finally, Proverbs 8:13 says, the fear of the Lord is the hatred of evil. So we find initially that where can you find evil? Well, you can find it in sexual immorality, in your zipper. You can find it in idolatry, in your worship. You can find it in your wallets with the love of money. You can find it in our hearts with your passions. Other forms that it can take, Matthew 5 says, you can come in the tongue, utterances of evil. It can come in other people. It can come in the treasure. You can have like a treasure house of evil within you, which that's very sobering. And it can come out of your thoughts and out of your heart. We know that evil comes from without, but the disturbing part is that evil can come from within, and it can even come in behavior. So we find that it can be from without, from within. This sounds like a Dr. Seuss book, from actions and from your head, from the storehouse of evil, from your tongue, from your zipper, from your worship. In other words, there can be many areas. Where can you find evil? All these areas, and maybe some more than others. So my real prayer for today is open our eyes. This is my prayer, is open our eyes towards evil. I want to use the second story I want to tell, other than the mercury poison and not knowing that it was evil, was that our light bulb of evil may illuminate. I was thinking about one of the Terminator movies where Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Terminator, and for a moment of the movie you see inside his eye, and he lights up these various threat levels. He's being pursued by a bunch of cops or something, and he lights up like 20 different cops at one moment in the story. And similarly, I would like to see us light up, because evil is out there in many different places, and within here in many different places, that our eyes can be trained to see evil and to light it up and feature it right early. I want us to be able to say, "Ooh, that's evil. Ooh, that's evil." So we can have targets of evil that we can do the right thing with, which is exactly what I didn't do with the mercury, which is to flee it and not fool with it. So Lord, help raise our awareness. Give us our eyes to see targets of evil and our ability to say, "Oh, that's evil." Highlight even these evil threats. Highlight actions that are evils, and storehouses that are with evil, and tongues that are evil, even if it may be mine, and love of money and wallets and zipper and hearts. And then, Lord, help us to do the right things with this, which is not to fool with evil, but to flee it, not like play with it, but run as fast as we can from it. So my brothers and sisters, abstain from evil. Abstain from every form of evil. Flee from it, and I will see you tomorrow.